Let's talk about some advanced RToken parameters. After having dealt with the revenue distribution in the last video, we're now going to come across the backing manager and the other parameters sections. These sections are a whole bunch of parameters that you can use to tweak your RToken just right. You notice that they have default values. These are the default values that the Reserve core team has thought about. That likely for most RTokens, these default values are right. But again, for your RToken, you might just want to tweak a few of these. Since these parameters are mostly technical in nature, here is Taylor Brent, the lead protocol engineer at Reserve, to walk you through all of them.
Next to me talking about how to write collateral plugins. First, before diving into this, I just want to caveat this with writing a collateral plugin is definitely not for a non-technical person to do. You could conceivably succeed in this kind of thing, not being a Solidity developer and basically just being able to read one or two crucial functions off of the underlying DeFi protocol you're trying to build on. But really, it is something that is technical and easy to get wrong in the harder cases, and generally requires someone who is adept at smart contract development. So, without further ado, let's dive in. First, you'll notice I've opened two docs here. Protocol/docs collateral and writing collateral plugins. These are similar to each other. Collateral is epically long, as you can see, and walks through all sorts of cases, does a function by function description and invariant requirements. Whereas writing collateral plugins, this is a bit smaller, still getting this started, but it does have the right questions that you should direct your attention to when writing your collateral plugin. I'm not going to read through this whole document. I'll leave that up to you. I highly recommend, it's basically required reading. Read this accounting units and exchange units. This is, did that link work correctly? Okay, it's supposed to link down here and it's not, but definitely read that section down below. And there we go. Yep, that's good. And then this also is down below. No, this is in Solidity style. Okay, so this is in a new tab. Yeah, and this describes our units. This is also required reading because you need to understand the units that are in the comments. That is basically your guide to staying sane while writing this contract. So first off, if you don't see a Q, then we're talking about whole units, okay? Whole token, whole reference unit, whole target unit, whole basket unit, whole USD in this case. You'll see naming like ref per talk. That's straight up the name of one of the functions here, or target per ref. And these mirror the units that they are. I'll leave this up because the interface is useful. I'm not going to read through everything. I'm just going to give you the rough form of the thing. So the rough form is you have a single mutator function, okay? Single mutator is called refresh. Everything that needs to go do some state update in either this contract or some underlying DeFi protocol has to happen in this function. Every other function, so all of these, and if you're building a collateral, then also these, you'll notice these are all views, okay? And it's expected, actually, just straight up at the beginning of any protocol interaction, you're issuing our token, redeeming our token, trading, whatever, every single registered asset is refreshed in order to prepare its state for all these functions later on. Okay, exchange rates. So I'm going to assume that you have read about our unit notation at this point, or at least we'll go back to it after if you're confused. There's basically two crucial exchange rates that you'll have to come up with. So I'll do the easier one first. Target per ref. This is usually just going to be a constant. Target per ref is the quantity of whole target units per whole reference units, and this could be documented more clear, in the peg as intended. So this is not like as empirically currently what is the price in the peg, but this is the intended exchange rate. So look, in almost every single case, this is going to be 1. We left it open because, it's conceivable to have a stablecoin that is worth $10. That is a totally coherent idea, and the interface should be able to support it. But, you know, you're dealing with a LSD ETH staking derivative, and you think that even that has a one-to-one exchange rate between ETH and whatever your reference unit is. I'll dive into Lido in a second, so that'll make more sense. Ref per toc. This is the like up only function on the interface. What ref per toc should do is return the value of some underlying exchange rate in a DeFi protocol that you're building on top of that is itself up only or close to it. I won't explain why the protocol requires this up only assumption, but very shortly, the capital flows do not work out if ref per toc can fall. It introduces an incoherent flow that breaks some of the fundamental assumptions the protocol is making. So ref per toc up only, okay? Collateral statuses. At any given time, a collateral is going to be one of these three states. It's either going to be sound, meaning there's nothing wrong with this collateral, continue using it. Iffy, which is we don't really feel like we need to toss the collateral out just yet, but there's something going on and like maybe the protocol should be a little more careful. And then there's the fully disabled state. Note that it's important that if the collateral is iffy for a sustained period of time, that it eventually becomes disabled. It should not be possible to stay in iffy forever. Basically, the protocol stops actions when something is iffy, and when something is disabled, it allows the protocol to take actions again because it knows what to do. It can just dump that asset and get a new one. Okay, let's close that one, and let's open Lido, I believe. Yeah. So we have written many helpers that, here they are, the top level, okay? These are used by the plugins that are in these folders, okay? So say you're implementing Lido, you might reach into one of these parent classes and inherit from it. In this case, appreciating fiat collateral, because it turns out that wrapped staked ETH for Lido is going to be actually pretty similar to an appreciating fiat collateral. We're just gonna have to remove the fiat piece, right? So let's look at appreciating fiat collateral. You'll notice up here at the top, it says can easily be extended by re-implementing, and then has these 4 functions. Should not have to re-implement any other methods. So we're trying to make it easy for people to write new plugins without understanding the entire inheritance hierarchy. Still, I would recommend, if you are looking at a particular class, follow the inheritance hierarchy up until you reach rock bottom or rock top, however you think of it, and figure out what is all the functionality it is inheriting. So in this case, it's actually just telling us, look, these are the only 4 things that you probably need to look at. Try price. This is used by the price function of one of the parent classes in a try catch call in order to see whether we can fetch prices in the current block. If we can't for some reason, or there's an error due to math, or there's an overflow, some price comes back too high, and after multiplying by this, we get a number larger than uint192.max, then that price function will not revert. It will instead just return 0, fix max. And I should explain that in a second. Here we are. Price, low and high. So you'll notice that we do not use point estimates for prices. Instead, prices are always given in terms of a range. This is usually pretty simple to derive. Generally, you go grab the price in the Chainlink Oracle. It has some deviation associated with it. You subtract that deviation to get the low, you add that deviation to get the high. That is a full price range that the asset could actually have for its price, right? Okay, try price, ref per toc. Maybe you want to override this function, which is, that core up only exchange rates that's going to allow the protocol to identify revenue. And maybe you want to identify target per F. Probably not, though. Like I said, 1-to-1 is basically what everything's going to use. And then claim rewards. If there's some type of reward that can be claimed, basically, if by holding the collateral token, you earn the right to claim some governance token or reward token, then you're going to have to implement the claim rewards function.